Was Garza the first school that this idea was fully implemented in?
Absolutely. It was unique. It was the first school that it was implemented in. And part of the philosophy of that, really from the founding principle, and which I love, is that you'll never get enough mental health professionals to help at-risk kids or kids that are dropping out of school. You know, you really have to have, you know, everyone. If we're going to help youth, it has to be everyone involved in the school. Not, you know, so we've got to equip the teachers. We've got to equip everyone to be effective. And that was part of what you know drove us that way. And Garza, because it was the first school, it's become quite internationally. I'm sure, you know, maybe even if you spoke to Dr. Webb, I know the principal of Garza, and she's traveled even herself all over the world to talk about it. And the former principal even was sent by the U.S. Embassy to Ireland to talk about it. And you know, it's amazing that this little school in East Austin that, you know, serves people here in Austin has such international, you know, world acclaim. But it has. People have come, I'm sure Dr. Webb told you, from all over the world to look at it. We had 2 teams of people, educators and psychologists, come last spring from Europe, one particular from Holland, and this spring we're having someone from Taiwan. It's very well known in Asia, you know, that's coming, a scholar, you know, at Normal University, which is a big university in Taiwan, come. But before that time, we just had droves of people come, you know, from different countries and different locations. And I think if Dr. Webb could make it a full-time job, and, you know, she has to limit that, because, you know, she's got a school to run, she's got some kids to continue to educate, and she just can't have these droves of people coming through all the time. But it's been amazing to me to see how much other educators have appreciated it in different countries.
So since implementation in Garza, has this approach been put into other schools?
It has. If you look at it, you know, the approach is in other schools more like counseling. You know, and you can see that in the literature, of course, the academic literature, and the counseling literature, all the way back to you know, the mid 1990s, really, or early 1990s, when this started coming in. And you see it more in the guidance counseling and the school social work and mental health counseling, and it's used in schools. I know they have at least one school that was modeled after Garza, you know, and used a lot of the same practices, or developed even during some of the same period in Asia, you know, for example. But it really hasn't been widely implemented, you know, like where they're trying to affect a culture using solution-focused practices, you know.
And so, have you done any kind of follow-up research as to how this program has affected the kids that go to Garza? Have you seen, you know, like marked progress, or what have you?
Well, that was part of the research that we did do over there, is to look at, you know, how it affected kids, and we did research that looked at outcomes, you know, and we also did qualitative interviews with youth that you know, asked them, you know, about their experiences in Garza and its effects on them. And we've found that it was very effective from the viewpoint of the youth. We haven't really been able to do a large-scale study on it to show, you know, how longitudinally it's effective, because that's one of the things that I was interested in doing, even in thinking about doing, is I would love to follow these youth into the future. You know, do they take these skills they learn over there, that they could keep going forward? Our original study indicated that they were going to college at a very high rate, and I think that's improved just based on the school data since the time we did the study, that over 50% went into some college setting. These are very high-risk kids. I think you already know they're getting very high scores on the SAT. Higher than the other AISD schools, Austin Independent School District schools. They have some advantages that way, because they are, you know, coming in as, you know, sophomore and juniors and things. I think Dr. Webb would tell you that. But still, it's extraordinary that you're taking the high-risk kids, and they're, you know, really the kids that people think, you know, they're not going to make it. They're going to fail. You know, they are not going to go to college or at all. But they do.